and welcome to another episode of OTD Sports Talk, everybody. Cheers. Actually, I am going professional. Oh, damn it. I'm going professional today. Watch this perfect pour. Oh, shit.
You almost spilled already. Is this a planned out thing? Like you brought a glass to your room and you're like, hey, I'm gonna professionally pour this beer out, and even though no one can see it on the camera anyways.
Ta-da!
Wow, it's just that was just
I'm a pro
you,
at this.
you always gotta start off this podcast with something real fucking stupid, eh?
You gotta get the people's attention. You gotta get them going.
People listening to you pour a beer into a glass. I don't know how much attention that's getting.
I mean, what else are they coming here for? They're already desperate enough to watch this podcast. Cheers.
Oh man. Oh yeah, chug that.
Big talk in the CFL world.
Yeah.
I want your opinion on this because I've read a lot of sources into this, and both sides are saying this is a great opportunity. And then you see one side where it's like, we're going to 4-down football. And then you have The Rock that's saying, I want to keep the integrity of the league together.
I don't believe or trust anything The Rock says until he actually does something.
So what do you think? What do you think's happening? Like, what's your opinion on this situation?
I mean, I had a very upset, strong opinion on this in the first place, but it's been so long. I feel like it's been ages since I've even thought about it.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but have you ever noticed that whenever we record a podcast, the next day or the following day is when all the
massive
news
happens? Yeah, every fucking time.
Like for the last 3 podcasts, I'll turn on and then whatever we record, and then the next day as I'm going to like upload it, as I'm like uploading, I get these notifications. CFL XFL merger. This person signed with blah. Dak Prescott's contract. This and that. And I'm just like, oh, what is happening? We are doing this on the wrong day.
It literally, like, I don't know who. Someone's fucking with us. Be like, hey, let's not have any massive news. Wait till these retires make a podcast. Boom, all the news.
Jokes on them. We waited till after the first day of free agency in the NFL. So boom. Now we got something to talk about.
We're on day 2 now, bitch.
What? Yeah, okay, so like I'm assuming that CFL XFL, if it comes together, I'm assuming it's not going to be this season or the following season. It's going to be the 2023 season. Is that what kind of the understanding is, or?
I think so. I don't. Okay, but give me your opinion. What you think it is? What do you think is going to happen first? I want to.
So I think what's going to happen, and I think it's stupid, is they're going to change it more to the XFL rules because they're going to say, well, obviously people like these rules more. Look at the NFL. And I also think too, with the NFL rules, how everything is so stop time or like near the
Run
end
time?
and there's a lot of play clock in between each plays. Like it's a slower game.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
More
there's no question about it.
advertisements.
Yeah.
There's a lot more advertisements. I think that's one of the head starts that the NFL had over the CFLs. They had all that room for advertisements. So I think they might switch it to more of an NFL game so they can allow for more advertisements, and obviously more people like the NFL game, which sucks, but it necessarily doesn't make sense to me because the CFL game is only around, or one of the biggest reasons it's been around for so long, it's because it's different than the NFL. The reason that the XFL, the AFL, or the AAF, or whatever the fuck that league was, the reason these leagues fold, it's like, why am I going to watch these games when they're basically a game of NFL football, right? CFL brought a different style of play, a different style of player. It allowed players that were necessarily the best at NFL football to prosper in a CFL league, where say their league was probably more, or with their positions were more catered to what the skill sets they had. So I hope they keep the rules. I hope the XFL joins the CFL and they're able to keep the CFL rules, at least the bigger field and the 3-down football. I think what will happen though is they'll shorten up the field. It will be, I don't even know, because then are they going to keep 11 players, 12 players? Like end zone's going to be smaller. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. I think what would be cool is keep the field, keep the 12 players, 4-down football. I would be okay with that.
I think the only issue with that is you would have 2 high-scoring games.
But that might be what they're going for. You know, like you look at the NBA,
Yeah.
for example, offense is just putting up 140
I
points,
mean,
140 points, you know?
all sports, people want to see offense. No one wants to see insane defense.
And
But at
that's
the
the thing.
same time, do you want to watch a fucking 50 to 55 football game every week? Not really.
Kind
I
of.
don't. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
because I have no faith. If I have no faith in my team defense ever doing anything, I'm like, well, it's just fucking whoever doesn't fuck up first.
that's fair. But no, you look at that one game where it was Kansas City versus the LA Rams, what, like 3 years ago? And it was like that offensive setting game or whatever it was, like 50 to 50, whatever score was.
Yeah.
Imagine that game just every day.
I mean, but
Granted,
then
it'd get boring,
that
but
game like that gets it doesn't. It's not as exciting when that one game once in a
yeah.
while happens.
Well, I think it's all about finding the right combination where it's, you know, and I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic about it because I don't want to lose the CFL game because it's
Yeah,
I would rather watch a game of CFL than a game of the NFL.
for sure.
You know, but like at the same time too, I'm not in control of that. You
Yeah.
know, that I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not
I've
at the end of
always
the
thought CFL game more exciting. If you put NFL players in the CFL rule set and games, I think you'd have a way more exciting, way better game.
because the
I mean,
NFL relies so much on strategy, and it like the NFL is a game of inches, but the CFL is more of a game of yards. You know, there's so much more room. You're able to really explore the player's skill set and let them do what they want to do. It's not all just
special teams is still a huge factor in the CFL.
huge. NFL special teams is a joke.
They try and get rid of it more and more
Yeah.
all the time. Like,
Although so I forget what year it was, like 08 or whatever, when Philip Rivers and LT and um who was their tight end there for the San Diego Chargers? Antonio Gates.
yeah,
So it was like when they had that team, they had the number one offense, the number one defense, but they were 9-7. And I watched a video, and they said they should have been like, I think it was 14-2 or 15-1 if it wasn't for their special teams.
yeah.
Simply because their special teams, they lost and didn't even make the playoffs, even though they had the best offense and the best defense. I was like, holy shit.
That's just insane. Which is, but like nowadays, like they make it so there's not really any kickoff returns. They make it so like there's never punt returns. Those don't exist. CFL you have to give those 15 yards or 5 yards, so there is a return on punt every time. And then the Rouge, baby, you can't get rid of the Rouge. That shit fucking. You scoring Rouges to win games or fucking tie games at the end.
The thing I hate about the NFL, and I'll forever hate this, is in the NFL, if there's 2 minutes left in the game, the team that's down does not have any timeouts, the game is over.
Yeah.
In the CFL, if there's 2 minutes left and
you
you're down, and you're down by like 14 points, even if you're down by 21 points, there is still a chance you can come back and win. There's always a chance. Even if there's 15 seconds left, you have the ball and you're down by 14. Score a quick TD. Like there's always a chance.
You don't even have to
happen.
necessarily go for that onside all the time.
No.
Like right away.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's one thing I hate about the NFL. It's just like so many games could be so much better if they just stop time in the last 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's not going to happen. They're not going to change that. It's a rule in the NFL. It's, I don't know.
The NFL doesn't change ever.
The no fun league.
Yeah. It really is.
Fun.
They live up to that name all the time.
It sucks. I mean, I like football. I like watching the NFL. I like following the NFL. But at the end of the day, the only games that I really find interesting are the games when the team has an offense. You know, if you're a defensive team in the NFL, your games are boring to watch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fair.
So I don't know. What do you want to happen though between the CFL XFL?
I don't know. So like the thing is, like they literally only announced that they're talking, so everything is literally just a made up rumor at this point. Like there's literally no fact of anything what's happening. I think they just wanted to come out and say they're talking, so people didn't have these rumors, but it's gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know. People, I can't see a like. So do you think there's gonna be a full merger? Like CFL is just gonna turn into XFL teams?
Well, I think what's going to happen is what they what the CFL tried to do in the 90s when they tried to extend into the USA. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're just good. And that's going to be a good thing, though, I think, if they expand the league to 9 teams to 16 teams or whatever it would be. I think that'd
Yeah,
be sick. It'd be more interesting. It'd be
but
different
like
games too.
there's a lot of logistics. You're gonna have to like everyone's gonna have to renegotiate their contracts. Like it's like
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. I can't see that happening. Like I just
the XFL came out and already said that they're not planning on having any games for the next 2 years.
well, they already weren't gonna have one like for 2021. They were originally scheduling for 2022, but now they said they're postponing that season pending talks. So which means there obviously has to be something going on if they're gonna
Mhm.
postpone what would be their next season.
See, and I would just hate if the XFL absorbed the CFL because I like the XFL. It's interesting.
It is.
It's a little trashy, which I like because it's something different. But I don't want the CFL to come and ruin the CFL's good name because the CFL has
I,
a great reputation. It has a great fan base. It's small, but it's a very solid fan base. The XFL is going to come in there and start promoting, like penis lover on the back of their jerseys or whatever the heck the names they put on the back of their jerseys. I don't know. I hope they don't do that because that's just stupid.
I mean, like, so I've also heard the thing that some people are just saying. I think it's optimism, just saying that like, oh, maybe it's just like a marketing thing. Like, they just want to help market to each other's fans, whatever. And like, the CFL does need to do something because majority of their fans and diehard fans are older. Like, our generation does not really give a fuck about the CFL,
Mhm.
which doesn't help it.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of them fucking merging to the XFL, to me, that it doesn't make any sense.
Does
Yes,
or
the
doesn't?
XFL does not. The XFL is technically different from the NFL, but other than special teams, it's pretty much the same game. And that's what makes the CFL. If the CFL goes to a 4 down smaller field, it's not. It's not. There's not. It doesn't make it any different than the XFL or the NFL. Sorry, other than the shittier players, and then you're not gonna have the excitement
Yeah. They,
that you
and
have now.
and that's the thing. I don't see them if they go to the XFL rules, which they might. The new commissioner is stupid. The CFL commissioner, he's an idiot.
He was
And I
supposed to be so good for CFL too.
he's
He was a
stupid.
former player. Everyone has so much faith in him, but I've not liked a single thing that he's done.
Me neither.
Like
I'm
not at
I'm
all.
not a huge fan. But that's the thing. If they go to the XFL rules and they go down that path, they're just gonna follow the path that the XFL took for the last 3 times or 2 times it started up.
I mean,
Because
to be fair,
you got to differentiate yourself from the competition. You can't have the exact same game as the NFL with shittier players and a shittier presentation and expect to do better or expect to at
yeah,
least
like
succeed.
don't get me wrong, CFL, NFL, both football, but two drastically different games. XFL
Drastically.
and NFL technically different, but you're the same field and same the 4 downs. I feel like it's a major factor in what makes it the same game.
Well, it's crazy
No,
how people are just like, oh, well, it's just small variables are involved, but it's like the CFL and NFL are completely different. Even if the skill set were to be the same, it's a completely different league,
like
different game plans. Like you need a different type of player. Like the NFL, you
yeah,
can have those big fat O linemen. Those would never do in the CFL. You need faster O linemen in the CFL,
yeah. Well, like you hear like
right?
whenever NFL players come out and they're trying like coming to the CFL, the first thing they always talk about, you hear them talk about like when they're transitioning from NFL to CFL, they're always like, oh well, you gotta see how his conditioning is because you have that much more yardage side to side, plus the length of the field, plus some extra yardage in the end zone. Like
Hmm.
the field is massive. Like
Yeah. Well, especially look at a defensive back. Like in the NFL, you start at 8 yards. You might backpedal 5 yards to cover like a deep end. You might cover the odd go here and there. But in the CFL, it's like you're starting at 12, 15 yards, and then you're backpedaling to like 20, 25 if you're a safety. Like there's
yeah,
just so much more room up there. And I don't know. I hope that the CFL absorbs the XFL.
I don't
I
see
think
that.
that I don't
I
see it
don't see
happening either
one
though.
league absorbing each
What if
other. I could just see like some. I hope, anyways. It's just some kind of marketing thing. I don't know
well,
where
what
they
if they do
mutually
it so like
benefit somehow.
so before the NFL was formed, when it was the AFL versus the NFL then, right?
Yeah.
maybe that's what they're going to do is where they all play the same rules, but they're two different leagues. And then, each league has their own winner, which would be the conference winner. And then the winner of each league plays in the final. I think that would be cool.
That would be sick, but I don't know if that would happen either. I can't see the XFL adopting the CFL rules.
It's going to be, well, and so the biggest thing,
But
when Las Vegas had a football team, the reason why, or one of the reasons why it was so shitty there is their actual stadium didn't have enough room for a CFL field.
I was
So
just gonna say that.
Sam Boyd Stadium did not have enough room for a CFL stadium, so their end zones were shortened.
Yeah.
So I fear that if the XFL wants to do that, they might not actually have the facilities that can hold a CFL stadium.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm sure you can find one nowadays,
yeah.
but
I'm sure you could make adjustments stuff, but it wouldn't be cheap. But yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Like, is it because like a lot of stadiums are built literally specifically for that football field? They don't have that extra. You can't just grow your field and have all that
and it's
space.
the lengthwise, because a lot of them do
Yeah.
fit soccer, because soccer is just as wide as
Yeah.
CFL, or maybe even a little bit wider actually. But it's the length. It's the extra 20 yards on each side of the goalpost, essentially,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. I maybe after kind of thinking about that, maybe what I can see happening is all teams adopt a smaller field, but then keep the CFL rules, but then go down to 11 players. So it says 3-down football, smaller field with 11 players.
I really like 12 players though. You get that
Me
extra
too.
receiver out there.
Me too. But if you have a
Extra
smaller
running
field, though,
back.
it doesn't necessarily,
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like if you
but
have you go smaller, you can't have an extra player. Like it's just so congested then.
I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool though.
I
But
don't know. The only rule I really like from the XFL, which isn't really a rule, but is how they do their reviews. That's my
yes,
favorite thing about the XFL. The NFL
yeah,
needs to fucking do that now. I don't know why they
100%.
don't. Everyone loves that.
What
That thing
was
is fantastic.
what was that proposal that Baltimore was talking about for the
For
camera? There was a ref that just followed around in a camera and that had direct access to the referees on the field and was like, "Pick that flag up. That's bullshit."
let's
Or
just say
we missed
they
that.
also
Or
they also had a fucking overtime rule proposal that I think the league should do too, because the NFL's overtime rules suck. I don't know why they don't, like, again, CFL college rule for overtime. Do that. It's so much better. It works and it's quick. It ends the game.
CFL is if you score a touchdown, the person can respond regardless.
Yeah, you both get a chance starting at the 35. Same in college, the same thing. I think college you start at the 25.
Yeah.
But college you can kick the extra point. CFL you have to go for two every time.
Ooh. So, but then, yeah. So then, even if both teams score, you keep going back and forth. And if one team scores and the other team doesn't,
Then it's over.
but so say the first team doesn't score and the second team does score,
That's
does the
game over.
team game over? The team doesn't have a chance to
Yeah,
retaliate.
yeah. You both got one chance, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
so that's why
It's a
like
1-for-1.
yeah, that's why it's like so if you get close but you're third and like five, like well shit, I can't just not kick the field goal because then they'll just kick a field goal and win.
Man, the greatest honestly one of the greatest games of all time was the Edmonton Eskimos against the Montreal Alouettes.
In the
Grey Cup
playoffs.
when they went it.
That
No,
that
when they went to
come
overtime.
yeah, that comeback.
Yeah, and Tony Tompkins hit that, that long return as well too.
Man,
And I
I just
remember it was
remember
like that 3rd and 3. Ricky Ray goes deep to Mookie Mitchell.
yeah.
Ooh,
Man, I just
childhood.
remember we had a bunch like a Grey Cup party and we were betting on the fucking the final score of the game, like you got the closest.
Yeah.
And I had some ridiculous score for the Eskimos to win by like a little bit, and the Eskimos were just getting pumped. So everyone's like, "Oh, you fucking like you had such a terrible pick. They're gonna lose." And they came back, won in overtime, and my score was like so close, but I won. I was like, "Fuck you all!
Oh.
I am the best."
Yeah, I don't know. I hope the CFL comes. It does sound like the CFL is gonna have a season this year, though, right? That's
Supposedly, that's
I've heard some like gray things where it's like CFL in the season, but then or
the
CFL season's up in the air, but then I hear stuff where it's like no, they're planning on having a season still.
like so far what I've heard. There's from what I've heard, there's gonna 100% be season, and they're apparently very optimistic it's gonna start on time. But
Yeah.
like the longer and longer it takes for a yes or no officially come out, the less likely that becomes.
Mm-hmm.
But like that when the XFL stuff came out, I did see a few CFL players be like, okay, so you guys are announcing this, but you won't tell us if we're having a fucking season or not yet. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I saw that as well too. Where they're just like, I think it was Zach Colaris was like,
Claro said
what are we
that.
doing
Brandon
with?
Banks, I seen. There was a couple other people, but like they really do need to figure the fuck out. Like, and
Yeah, their commissioner's terrible. I like you said before, I thought he was gonna be good, but
yeah, I did too. Like
joke.
he talked about how they need to like get younger fans up, but he's like done nothing good for the league.
Well, like, yeah, I don't know. I would ask you like, what has he done? But I don't even know what he has done. I think
I
that's
can't
the
name it off the top of my head, but I
me
know there's
neither.
been a couple things for sure where he did, and I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Not to be cocky or anything though, but I feel like I might be able to do a better job with being like,
yeah,
hey, well, what do we try this and that, and
yeah,
like ideas, not just I don't know. It's just and you look at I think he came out where he said that it looks like they haven't really balanced their books and how long. I'm just like, you guys aren't aware of your financial situation right now. Like, what is going on? No wonder the government didn't give you a loan last year
yeah.
because you couldn't, like, you probably had no idea what was
Provide,
happening.
yeah.
You know,
I
so
did I did see one thing that said like every team's struggling with finances except for Saskatchewan,
because they just got such a
which
diehard fan
which
base,
makes so much sense.
so much sense. They, it seems like every
But that's
fan
what I mean.
base has
So
like three jerseys
imagine
to them. Like, who
imagine the
cares?
CFL turning into the XFL. How many fucking Saskatchewan Roughrider fans would be furious?
Oh, like, yeah, dude, that would be.
Like there's diehard fans in Saskatchewan for those
Well,
Roughrider teams.
just imagine though that so this commissioner comes in there, he was supposed to do good things, and already in the first few years, even when you look on I follow a few like CFL pages on Facebook, so I hear the fans, I see the fans talking about stuff, and none of them have anything good to say about this guy. So imagine
Yeah,
if so there you have nothing good to say about him, but imagine if he actually gets rid of the CFL. Like
that'd just be awful.
his name would be among one of the worst Canadians ever. Like
Yeah,
everybody will hate him if you got rid of the
yeah.
CFL. That this league's been around for 115 years or whatever. It's 120 years
100
now,
some
probably.
years. I don't fucking know.
And you just no, never gonna go this way. It's like fucking idiot. I don't
It
like it.
does suck that like the fucking CFL was that dependent on money every year. That one year kind of fucked them.
Yeah. Well, they weren't necessarily in it to make the money though,
No,
because
that's
I know it's like the Eskimos don't actually have an owner, so like they're a non
yeah,
for profit or
yeah.
yeah non profit or whatever they call I think it is, but I don't know. Maybe I'll get into
I
sports.
hope at the end of the day it's some sort of marketing thing where everyone's like, why the fuck did you announce this merger? Because it's pointless anyways. It's just a marketing thing, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
If if they merge, are you? If they merge all into the XFL, are you still watching the Edmonton team?
I mean, I want to, but at the same time too, it all depends on the situation and the circumstances. If they completely ruin the league, I I won't. Because like it'll be like my little form of like a boycott. Like you ruined a perfectly good league. Granted, I understand COVID kind of fucked everything up, but like,
I think they
you
could
know,
make it survive though. I
they
feel
could make
like
it. And worst case scenario, if they were to put out a like a GoFundMe essentially to help raise funds, I'm sure Canadians would be more than willing to actually donate some of their money to like save the CFL if it came down to that. We're like, hey, we're
yeah,
either going to fold or we have to raise this much money. And I'm sure a few corporations would also step in as well too and say, hey, here's our money. We want some like decent advertising
give
though
us some
from
give
this,
us some
right?
more sponsorship or something.
Right. So I think it's not a league. I don't think that will fold. Like there's just such a tradition involved with it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know.
See, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
anything's possible.
anything's possible. I just don't want to see them sell out. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to see them sell out. But knowing this douchebag who's fucking running the show, he might.
We're just talking shit about him, but we don't really know anything about him. I love it.
What else
But I
do you think
mean,
this podcast is about?
yeah, like if it comes, if it does come out though,
That's
that
the
it's
show.
like, yeah, if it does come out though, it's like the CFL literally had no choice and they had to merge with the XFL. I'd be like, okay, you did what you had to do, whatever, I guess. But I don't think that's the case. So I would, I they did merge, I would want to boycott, but I don't think I could pass up the option to go watch a couple games just because it's such a good
That's true.
atmosphere and such a fun time going to watch live football.
Especially post COVID. Imagine
Yeah,
that
like
first game. First game, you walk in there, you buy your beers, you got your pilsner in those little plastic
I
cups.
buy my 925 drafts, fucking chug both of them, go buy two more babies.
Buy a Coke and then pull that rum out of your back pocket and pour it
What you talking about?
in.
I don't know what you're talking about,
What you talking about, Willis?
man. I don't know what the fuck you saying.
Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, even if they do say this was our last opportunity to do this or fold, I'm gonna call bullshit on that and be like, you guys could have done something else. I
Yeah,
feel like
and also,
you guys probably just thought this was your best situation at the moment.
yeah,
So I can respect it, but
also it does. My opinion doesn't really matter, and it's irrelevant. But if the XFL does just kind of take over the CFL, I will forever hate The Rock, even though I'm already not a big fan. Just fuck that
me too.
cocksucker if he ruins the CFL after
Me
saying he doesn't want to ruin it.
me too. I will
But
I'll personally
boycott
okay,
The Rock.
maybe
I
I
will never
shouldn't
watch
say
anything
that.
The Rock's in.
Yeah, let's put it that. I was gonna say something. I was like, just in case if I do snap, I probably shouldn't say anything on this podcast. Anyways, though, enough trash talking about something that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
We are
Also,
going to
quick side note. Calvin McCarty, greatest Eskimo of our time. Sad to see him retire, but like
sad to see him retire.
I
You
hope to see
were
him on that Ring of Honor soon.
me too. He was like the OG of utility players. You know, I know
This
like
guy went from
Taysom Hill is like kind of developing or redesigning what a utility player can do. But
yeah.
Calvin McCarty was like the OG utility player in the CFL. Like I really
He
didn't know
went
what
from
position this guy was until like his final few years, and I was like, oh, he's a running back.
yeah,
All right.
like he literally was a 1,500-yard rusher, I think, and then just like that, he transitioned into like a fullback and a massive special teams guy, and still
Mhm.
killed it.
Yeah, no,
And
he was.
in his last couple seasons, was still pulling off some of the most insane one-handed catches ever with the
Yeah.
CFL football.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Good for him though. Good season, good career.
I mean,
You know, I'll pour one
like,
out for the homie.
yeah. I mean, but like also in the CFL to
Oh,
play,
oh my fingers are caught. Do you see
you're a fucking retard.
no, it's like actually caught.
How do you manage that?
I don't know.
Fucking stupid.
Oh my, what is happening? I've never had that happen before.
I don't
Alrighty,
think
well,
anyone has, Matt. Just you. But like also
pour one out for the homie.
last thing, as a for one to play on one CFL team your whole career in 13 years, that's impressive in the CFL. That never happens.
Especially in the CFL.
Yeah,
Like
like
who was it that one? I think it was like Kevin Glenn. He played for all teams in the CFL,
yeah, and he
right?
played decent for all of them, I think.
Except for Edmonton. I don't think he ever played for like
Yeah, I
really
don't think he.
Edmonton.
And
But
he was just a backup really for a couple of games.
yeah, that's really it. But I don't know. That's especially quarterbacks. Well, actually, not even especially quarterbacks. A lot of people
Yeah,
they at least get in with a few teams.
yeah. Well,
But
but the also other kind of optimistic thing is Enoch Mwamba just signed with the Argos today. So like obviously they're still like planning on a season this year.
yes,
Like I wouldn't sign people if they're not.
Toronto. I can't remember the names though exactly though. But this free agency, Toronto has made some moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have signed a good defensive unit.
Yeah, but all that matters is they let Darrell Walker come back to Edmonton, and it's over, baby. We going to that Great Cup.
Walker's coming back to Edmonton.
Yeah,
Hey,
and Aaron Grimes is back too.
how was his time? He was with Minnesota.
No, he was in BC last couple of years.
Oh no, I'm thinking about the receiver. What's his name?
Zylstra.
Zylstra. Yeah.
I forget who. I think he might have got cut this last off season, but he was. And Duke Williams is still with the Bills, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Um, we got James Wilder as well too. I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Yeah, Wilder's unreal.
He didn't have a good season last year though, but I think he was injured though, right?
I think he retired last year.
Or like 2 years ago, because he had
Yeah,
his
well,
breakout year and then he came back again. He didn't
I
necessarily
think
have a good
I think he
season.
also held out to start the year though, because he wanted more money or some shit. Or so he had some kind
Mm,
of thing with the
yeah,
Argos.
yeah, because it was his final. It was his year when Ricky Ray was still there. Ricky Ray's final year,
Yeah, I
I
think they won
think,
the
if I'm
Grey
not
Cup.
mistaken. Yeah,
I
when they
think
won the
he
Grey
won.
Cup, and Wilder popped off in the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
he was just
No, he's a
balling.
fucking stud, man.
He's super good, man. He's
Super
jacked,
big and athletic.
literally. So, I don't know. I'm excited for the CFL season. Hopefully, it
Yeah,
starts on
but
time though.
speaking of contracts, let's talk about people who are making more than entire CFL rosters.
Yes, sir, we do. For standing on the bench and being a bench backup quarterback. So,
Yeah.
all these quarterback signings, all like between 10 million and 14 million, which I found was very weird and odd,
So
kind of.
apparently
But
the Cam Newton one's really only like 3.5 guaranteed, and the rest still incentives.
yeah, yeah, which I like because I think Cam is probably the type of player who performs better, kind of under pressure when he has something to prove.
I don't know about that,
Well,
but
he had no weapons last year though. I'm
say
looking
it
back
does
at
help.
now. I'm gonna write
So
that
the
off, but
interesting thing to me was you bring in John Smith for a massive contract, and then you next day you go sign Hunter Henry for a
yeah,
massive contract. You just signed the two biggest free agent tight ends, which is strange to see in one free agency
I kind of feel like that New England almost overspent.
on tight ends for sure.
But I can tell that they are they're trying to be like a run heavy, keep everything
Oh,
inside, right?
but
Because of
they
Cam
don't.
Newton, like they need the good tight ends because that's probably all
No,
Cam
that's
Newton can throw
definitely.
to.
And then there's signings at wide receiver, that Bourne guy and
Aguilar,
Aguilar. Like those are good, decent signings for like people you don't have to pay a shit ton of money, right? Like they didn't have to
oh
pay a
yeah,
Juju or a Galladay or a Will Fuller. Like
hmm
those are good pickups for them.
oh yeah, and especially considering they don't even need the best receivers because of what Cam Newton does. But
Yeah,
I would like to
and
see,
you have Edelman coming back too, right?
yeah, I would like to see New England sign a better running back though.
Well, that's apparently they're still in the market for running back. Apparently they somehow still have cap space, even though they signed everyone in free agency this year.
They spent $232 million in one day.
Yeah, that doesn't even include today.
Like, what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they surpassed their total spending.
See,
So
do you think
Belichick
it?
had every season before this one. I think
Do,
they surpassed that today.
do you think that there is a chance I could call them and say, hey, you just want to add one, just add a one in there somewhere and just kind of give that to me, help your boy out a bit, or
I
like, oh my god,
don't
it's
know if that's how that
ridiculous.
works.
No, definitely not. But I feel like though Bill Belichick went up to like Robert Kraft and was just like, so you know what I've done for the last 20 years. I'm gonna spend a shit ton of money today, and you're gonna be okay with it.
I don't think he told Watercraft shit.
He probably just did it.
But I mean, they have the cap space, so obviously they have the money.
Yeah.
So I mean, he just said, "Fuck it." I'm like, obviously they like last year sucked, and they had a lot of injuries and opt outs, and they didn't have any weapons for Cam, and they just fucking went out. And I mean, like, they signed decent, like two great tight ends, two receivers that could be good, could be man. We'll see how that works.
Yeah.
Matthew Judon, as a Ravens fan, I'm happy to see him get paid. I'm happy the Ravens didn't pay him that much money. That's all I'll say. And they signed, I think they got a DB because they're probably going to get rid of Gilmore because they
Yeah.
also have that other DB who had an insane amount of picks last year.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think they'll be a better team.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
I don't know if they're going to be able to beat the Bills in their division.
Yeah. I don't know either. Mainly because I don't think like I like Cam Newton. I think he's a good quarterback. But at the end of the day, to beat a team like that, you need a quarterback. I mean, granted,
You
Cam
need a
Newton
game
can put
breaker.
up like Cam Newton can put up 300 yards if he really needs to. He's done it a few times in his career, but like at the end of the day, he's only gonna throw 200 yards a game.
And like,
Um,
I don't know if you can depend on Edelman to be making big plays for you anymore. He's just coming off a full year where he's injured. Like,
mhm.
I don't see Aguilar being that guy or
Yeah.
Bourne being that guy.
But the thing is, though, you look at their team, and I forget what they finished. They were what 6-10.
7-9.
7-9. It's like when you look at their roster and who they had. So like offensively, they had Cam Newton. Defensively, a lot of their players opted out. To be
They
able
had
to finish,
Gilmore
yeah, but
and
like
Harris,
to
I
be able to
think. The
finish
other.
7-9, I think with that team is not bad.
No, it shows you Bill Belichick is a good fucking coach.
Very good coach, and I think now with these signings, I think they will reach the conference finals. Or at least they. Sorry,
I
they
think
have
they'll
the
make the playoffs.
opportunity. They have the opportunity to make the conference playoffs as the stars align correctly with them. But
Yeah.
big day for them, though. Big day for the first day that they are legally allowed to tamper.
The fact that it's the first day you can legally tamper, but it's also everyone signed immediately as this was legal. So how does that work?
Anyways, so KC signed that O lineman. What's his name? Joe Thuney.
Yeah, from the former Patriots guy. So what's interesting
He's a guard,
to me,
though. He's a guard.
Yeah, and they cut 2 tackles, right?
Yeah. So not
But
only
they do have
I don't know.
I think they had one other tackle was hurt, and Laurent Duvernay
French
Tardif
guy, the COVID dude.
from Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's coming back, and he's a starting tackle. What's interesting to me is Bill Belichick cut this guy because to save money, obviously. But like, if he was that good, I don't think Bill would have cut him and signed this other guy. And he got paid by Kansas, which I still don't understand how they have money to do that.
5-year, $80 million.
That's a lot.
That's a
money.
lot, especially for a position they didn't not necessarily need, but like they were definitely needing more of a tackle, and that showed.
Yeah.
Especially for a team who runs outside, everything is outside, not necessarily up the middle.
They're not a fucking up the middle team.
Yeah, no, it's like that doesn't. I heard that news and I was like, well, when they first cut them, and I was like, okay, well, they must sign somebody. And then I saw this guy and I was like, okay, that's a big contract. He must be pretty good. And I looked into it. He's a guard, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a GM. I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't know. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, they're still the fucking Chiefs. Like,
yeah, no, they still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Tyreek Hill. They still have Kelsey. They still have whoever else they have in that fucking roster. Hey,
yeah.
Charge, Jason Tatum. You're a bitch.
You're so far behind.
I know. So far behind.
Biggest signing of the year so far though is
Tyrod Taylor.
I like that signing.
Me too.
It's magic though.
Yeah. No, actually, Jameis Winston as well too. Fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I know you love Jameis, but hands down, best signing, Washington football team. Ryan Fitzmagic.
Love it.
You got Taylor Heineke coming back. He was the closest to beating the Bucs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if he all of a sudden if he doesn't fucking pop off for you to start the year, boom, you got Fitzmagic taking you to the playoffs, baby.
I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks ever.
Fitzmagic?
Okay,
Or Heineke?
Fitzmagic. Not ever, but like he is one of the most underrated ones. Because I know he had a few terrible seasons though. But I remember when he was with Tampa Bay and it was him and Jameis Winston, he would have like 2 games where he'd throw 400 yards.
Yeah, he just come off the bench.
Yeah, then Jameis Winston would go on there and throw 400 yards. It's like, who do we start when each quarterback's throwing 400 yards?
Well, no, it was whenever the quarterback threw 3 or 4 interceptions, they got benched for the next guy. Then that guy would go off, only throw 1 or 2 interceptions, then throw 3 or 4 the next game. It's like, okay, you're on the bench now.
Just a cycle.
But then Fitzmagic showing up with the fucking aviators chain and fucking open shirt, just the hair flowing, the press conference, just everything about that guy's fantastic.
There was
he reminds me a lot of Strebler.
I wonder if Chris Strebler is gonna be back in the NFL.
Did he only have a 1-year contract with the Cardinals?
I think so. Because after that, I was very optimistic. I thought he was going to be able to do some good things in the Cardinals game.
Yeah, he did not.
He did nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, so he's coming back to the CFL.
The weird thing about that was, though, I never understood how he got, of all people that got that great of an opportunity straight ways in the NFL, is outstanding. Like, you don't see people from the CFL all of a sudden being the second string quarterback the year after in the NFL. Like, that doesn't happen.
I think it was more so his style of play.
Yeah, but still.
Right. But I think they See, when I heard the signing, I thought they were gonna use him a lot more. I thought they were gonna use him kind of like Taysom
So did
Hill,
I. So did I.
but they didn't do that at all. Unless they were just having him on the team just in case they needed it or something, or if they did, maybe they did sign him to a multi-year contract and they're kind of waiting to use him
I
or
don't
what.
know.
But I don't know. It was a very odd one, but I wasn't questioning it. The man's getting paid. He's probably getting
Yeah.
paid more than he will ever in the CFL all his
Oh yeah,
career,
for
you
sure. No,
know.
like yeah,
So
good for him.
good for
Like the
him,
only
man.
people I can think of that would have even been close to going to the NFL and starting right away is Cameron Wake, which I don't even know if he started right away. I'm assuming he did
Oh, he
because that was
did. He was like a
and
Pro Bowl.
yeah, no, but like I don't know if that was right after, but yeah, he was
Yeah.
insane. He started in the CFL and Brandon Browner, who
Oh.
whose career ended in a very bad way.
Was it murder charges or just assault
I don't
charges?
know. There were some bad charges against him.
Damn. So
What?
Cameron Wake. Wow, this seems like it was not that long ago Cameron Wake played in the CFL.
What was his last year?
Guess.
Um, 2000. It can't be earlier than 2004
Oh,
or later
wow.
than 2004.
Later. So you think it was like early 2000s he played in the CFL?
Yeah, like
Really?
when did he play in the CFL?
2007 to 2008.
Oh
See, I would have thought like 2011, 2012 maybe. Like
no,
this dude is 39 years old. Like he's retired. He's a free agent right
yeah.
now. Like, wow. Yeah, like his second year he was a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean that guy. I don't know how he
He was
ever ended up in the CFL, even
he
if it
was
was
an
for 2 years
animal.
only.
He was an animal. Even if it was just like 1 year, I could understand that. But Brandon Browner, let's look this up.
Can you think of anyone else that went from the CFL to NFL? Actually, Alex Singleton from the Stampeders had a really good year for the Eagles this year.
Well, Duke Williams.
Yeah, but he's not like he didn't play. Like Alex Singleton, because of injuries, mind you, became a starter, but he became like I think he was their leading the team in tackles at one
Oh
point.
wow, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about now. He he's still playing for the Eagles.
Yeah, no, he started a lot of the games last year for him, but like he was always been good for the fucking Stampeders, and they hated him
Wow.
because he played for the Stampeders.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know he was good too. He hasn't been an all-star though, but yeah.
Yeah,
Brandon Browner. Yeah, so Brandon Browner did that. Brandon Browner got Pro Bowl the first year back. Let's look at his personal life. Legal issues. Possession of cocaine and being under the influence. 2017, 2018. He's officially charged with attempted murder and 3 other felonies. So he's in 8 years in prison. So yeah, he's in jail right now for 8 years. So he's got 5
attempted
more years.
murder. Hey, that's a
Damn,
rough one.
that is a rough one.
That's one you're probably not coming back from.
Well, he's 36. He's still got 5 more years. Maybe NFL come back at 41. Pull
No, I just
Michael
mean in
Vick.
general. Like no one's gonna be a fan of yours. Like
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other CFL players came out there. I feel like there was a receiver though, like maybe like 8, 10 years ago who went there and kind of balled out.
recently,
Well,
there's
Fred
been no
Stamps
one.
went to the NFL for 1 year and got released, right?
Yeah, and same with like after the Eskimos won the Grey Cup, sorry, the football team won the Grey Cup. Like Darrell Walker went,
Yep.
Zylstra went, and I don't think Bowman went, which was a surprise.
I thought he went.
I don't think he did. But his
Bowman
career
was
also started going down after that.
Bowman was like the biggest, just like 180 career ever. Like he went from being one of the best receivers, just being like, oh yeah, he just drops everything. He's not really that good.
Well, but to be fair, kind of in his later years, we we bitched about him dropping balls a lot.
Yeah,
Like he dropped balls like a lot of like easy balls where you're expecting it on like a
like a
second
slant.
down play where you need it, and you're like you need to have that catch.
Mm-hmm.
But then he still always have those big plays. So it's okay, you kind of forgive him. But it's like he always kind of had that. But yeah, all of a sudden, especially when he went to Montreal, he was just irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
But
Um,
it's still a stud.
stud, but oh, you're so lanky and tall though.
Okay,
Animal.
anyways, back to NFL.
So out of the so we got Andy Dalton,
And so
Tyrod Taylor, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jacoby Brissett, Jameis Winston. That's kind of all the quarterback signings that have happened so far.
Yeah.
Which ones do you think are the best?
Well, I think the Tyrod
Grant,
Taylor one's great fit. I think closest play style you're gonna get to Deshaun Watson, so it kind of fits that offense.
mm-hmm.
Depending, like I don't know what's happening. Apparently they're not answering calls, which I believe. But like, why did my screen just go black?
Did you hit? Is your camera on?
Yeah.
Huh.
What? I didn't hit fuck all.
I don't know. On a side note, I do hate Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I fucking always hated his dumbass face.
He's just such a baby, man. Like he just flops all the time. But the thing about him, it's not like he just flops, but then is like he initiates a lot of the stuff and then flops. And it's like,
Yeah.
like what are you doing, bro?
Oh, what the fuck?
What the heck
I feel
happened there?
I don't know.
GG.
But I'm also like let me go turn on a light. My camera's just fucked.
Yeah, fair. I think this might have been like the first recording in a long time where it's been light outside.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it's just getting dark now. Which honestly is just weird to me.
Let's see. My thing is I just don't like talking shit about like Celtics players like Smart because I'm super biased because I just hate the Celtics because I'm a Raptors fan.
Fair. But
So,
also, that's why we have this podcast, Tyler, to talk.
True.
Speak your mind.
No, I just like you
Celtics are a
said, Mike,
joke
I
this
think
year.
he's a bitch. Jason Tatum, I no longer can hate him just because how dominant he was last playoffs, and I'm like, this guy's actually just a stud.
Fair. He is a fucking stud, man. But yeah. Okay, so anyways, to go back to quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, Tyrod Taylor won really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he deserves a chance to play still. He kind of got fucked last year when he got that medical issue, and then Herbert just took over.
Yeah. I like Tyrod Taylor. He's one of my favorite like underrated quarterbacks where his game doesn't really prove that he's an elite quarterback, but I like the guy though. He's a good baller.
See, against the bias where when I really started watching football, he was backup quarterback for the Ravens, so always a fan of him.
Fair. Yeah, I like that signing. I heard about that signing, and my initial thought was, okay, they're going to trade Deshaun Watson here fairly soon. This is like their backup plan.
Really?
That's a good backup plan. That's what I thought. I was like, hey, you know what? That's going to be their starting quarterback this year.
Apparently, they're still not answering calls on Deshaun Watson.
Just get rid of him. Like you've gotten rid of everybody. Although they are signing some defensive players, correct?
Yeah, so they're not like just giving up. But like, the thing is too, like, if you know he's not playing, which I guess you can't really know, but if you are going to trade him, you need to trade him before the draft because that's how you're gonna get your value picks. If you trade him to a team and get their first round draft pick next year, you know that draft pick's not going to be fucking top 10, or shouldn't be. Probably won't be top 10.
Yeah.
Like
unless you trade him halfway through the season. But then his trade value is going to be worth less because you're like, well, he's not even playing, so why would I give him top dollar?
But I mean, at that point, you just want to cut your losses and get rid of him.
Literally.
So I mean, I feel bad for that GM coach though. Like, they got brought in, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, by the way, you're all fucking superstar quarterback you thought you had. Yeah, he's not here anymore.
But the good thing is, though, about that though, is there's no expectations, and you can just start over. Right?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Nobody wants to go there. Football team where they get fired.
Yeah, nobody, and that's the thing too. It's not even that they can reset everything and then start signing people. It's nobody wants to go to Houston right now because of all this drama.
It's not a good one. Yeah. I mean, there's still people that go, but you're not. It's not an attractive name for those big name players.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if you're getting paid, you'll go there.
Jameis Winston, that was expected.
I like it.
The
whole Taysom Hill contract was very weird.
So yeah, I seen that.
But they also they cleared up $60 million of cap space.
Yeah. That's just insane to me, and I think the next CBA, which is for not another 10 years now, so it doesn't even matter at that point. But like, there's rules about how you can fucking make 3 voidable year contract just so you can say it's fucked.
Yeah.
Like that's just stupid. That doesn't make sense how that should work.
So I don't understand why they needed to do that though. But wasn't it just they needed? So they signed him, but all he's getting is the signing bonus because he's going to sign the contract, then they're going to void it, and then
Well,
all
and then
he's getting is the signing bonus up front.
I think he has to probably have some base salary for this season, but it's probably like minimal. Like
I heard
nothing.
that. I heard this year was 500. Last year was 500,000 for him base salary.
Yeah.
This year it's like 4 million base salary.
Yeah, which is
Nothing. But I don't know. That's weird how they did that though. That's
It's
really
like
weird.
whoever figured that out, good for them.
Good for them.
Fucking-
Accountants are geniuses.
I'll go that far.
Yeah. I like the Andy Dalton signing. Kind of. It's
I don't know. A lot of
so
Bears fans are pissed off on Twitter. I can tell you that.
yeah, like because they probably thought they're getting Russell Wilson, but that
Well,
trade's not happening anymore. The Seahawks said we're not doing that trade. We're keeping
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, which is the smart bet.
Which I don't think they were really ever going to, but apparently the Bears were pushing real hard for him.
Really hard. That's what I heard as well too.
But on that, why I don't understand why Russell would want to go there. Like, if the Bears are pushing hard for him, they're giving up every good player that they have in their pick. So Russell Wilson's gonna be on a shitty ass team there.
I heard it was because whoever he's
His
dating,
wife's is from there.
yeah, I think that's what it was. And then what
But
are
all
the
the
locations
teams you wanted to go to were
What were the
shit.
other ones you wanted to go to though?
Oh, fuck.
Chicago, Las Vegas, which I think would have been a good fit, but unrealistic.
Yeah, I don't think that was happening. I think New Orleans was in there originally.
63 million in debt.
The Jet, like there was no one that was good. Like there was no one in my mind where he would have went to a team and been good, and he definitely wouldn't have had the weapons like
So like
DK
Miami,
Metcalf and Lockett.
like if he went to Miami, Super Bowl team.
Well, I don't know. Miami makes some questionable cuts.
That's true. That's true. But
so do you
I
like
don't
the who just signed with Miami?
Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett to Miami.
It's a backup position. I like
Yeah,
it.
like,
He's
I
a good
don't know.
backup for Tua.
See, my thing is though, you can't bring him off the bench like you did Fitzmagic for Tua.
No, but at least that his play style though, he's more athletic than Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of, but I think a better signing for them would have been Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
right, just because of play style, but
the
how much you knew about
Jacoby's good. He's a decent backup. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe he fucking gets a shot and balls out there. Who knows?
I don't
People are
know.
still saying Dolphins might draft a quarterback this draft. Who the fuck knows what's going on?
That'd be ridiculous. Although knowing the Miami Dolphins, though, they will. They'll draft a quarterback. Simple enough.
Nothing would surprise me on. So back to the Patriots. So do you think they draft a quarterback this draft in the first round, second round? Like, you have to, right? At some point, you have to take a quarterback.
I think you do. And like no fault to Cameron Newton, but like I'd say Cam probably only has maybe like 2 or 3 years left, all things considered.
Let's say he's
being
not
a starting quarterback, right?
He's not your quarterback for the future.
No, he's your temporary quarterback who might be able to bring you some success.
Yeah.
But no, I think you draft a quarterback, especially Bill Belichick. Draft a quarterback, you have them learning the system for 2 years, and then he comes in there and plays like Tom Brady for the next 18 years.
Yeah, you get a good full year backup. So like, my thing is like you're not getting obviously Trevor Lawrence, probably not Justin Fields, probably not Trey Lance, but if there's Mac Jones, maybe he's sitting there in the 20s before your pick. Like, I don't see how you can pass him up.
Is he the one from BYU?
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
He's the one that people say looks like the best quarterback, but he's never played anyone.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the guy we're talking about. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I saw people talking about that. I was just like, you picked Trevor Lawrence, man. I don't know what you're doing.
To be honest, this happens every year, right? Like, every year, there's always a guarantee. Every sport, there's always, like in hockey, like when McDavid drafted for like a day, there was talk that, what if the Oilers took Jack Eichel instead? Like, no, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, it's the same at the start of the year, everyone's taking this guy, and then halfway through the offseason, no one's got anything to talk about. Like, oh, maybe this guy's gonna go first of all. Maybe this guy is better, but it never ends up actually happening. So until it does happen, like, so if they come out and draft Trey Lance first overall, I'll be absolutely mind blown. And there's no way the Jets don't take fucking Trevor Lawrence second overall and bye Sam Darnold.
Well, I think you'd be stupid not to draft Trevor Lawrence
Yeah,
first overall. Like, he is that generational player who's going to come in
but I
there,
mean,
not necessarily guarantee you a Super Bowl, but he's going to guarantee you some winning seasons, though, at least.
like I see, like sure, Joe Burrow, they weren't necessarily winning games necessarily, but they were.
He was balling out, though.
He was going off. They were competitive in most games, and they were worse once he got out. Like Trevor Lawrence will bring that to you, but who knows? Like maybe that last guy does turn out to be a better quarterback in the future, but you never know, right? But like
It's easy in having hindsight into the situation. It's like,
but
why
like
did the Browns draft Johnny Manziel? It's like,
yeah,
well, because at the time, like, he had some promising signs. He had good hype around him.
same thing with Arizona Cardinals and Josh Rosen. They realized,
Literally,
hey, not the guy. We can get Kyler Murray instead. Boom, let's get Kyler.
yeah, literally. It's an investment. I mean, it's
But I
like,
mean,
as bad as that sounds, but these players are literally investments.
yeah,
It's with every human being, with every position that somebody holds as an employee, you are an investment. They're
yeah,
giving you money because they hope that you're going to be able to generate more money for them.
yeah.
Simple as that, right? So
And I mean,
I don't know.
Trevor Lawrence is just a proven winner. He's lost the fact that in his career he's lost 2 college games in his entire career is insane. Yes, they're
Ridiculous.
both in the championship to Alabama, so like you like to see him win those, but he still won one. So
Drooling.
he, like two
Just choking
to play
myself too hard.
to play 3 games or to lose 2 college games in your 3-year career is insane. Like that is
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. I don't know. It's just, and it's not like he's just been like the same. Oh, he's putting up 300 yards a game. It's, I think it was his first year. He averaged like 290 yards a game. Then he averaged like 330. Then he was like averaging like 390 his final year or whatever it was. It's like, it's not like he has just come in there, stayed the same, and outperformed everybody. He's outperformed everybody, and then he's also gotten better. Like, he's on the upward swing still.
Well, and the first year he started, he wasn't even supposed to be the starter. He came in and
Mhm.
became the starter. He took over
Yeah.
that job and then went on to win a national championship. Like that's wild.
He's ridiculous. He's an animal. I
And he's
remember
athletic too. Like he
yeah.
can get out of the pocket and move.
He I don't know. I think Jaguars would be stupid to draft him. But also if the Jets were to get him, though, that would be a big game changer for the Jets organization. I think that the Jets deserve him more than the Jaguars because Jacksonville is just like kind of a joke organization. They're just there to be part of the league. They're not actually like,
I don't
they're
know.
never
They
really going
made
to
the
be
playoffs
competitors.
one year and then all of a sudden they were complete ass again. Like,
Although they made the conference finals one year,
yeah,
and then they turned to ass. But they don't deserve him. They're going to get him. They don't deserve him, but I think the New York Jets deserve him though because that organization. It's like it's one of those organizations in the NFL. It's like it is kind of like similar to the Arizona Cardinals, where they've just been there for so long and they just can't even catch a break, regardless if
yeah.
they go out and get these free agents or whatever they do. Um, Granted, New York Jets are just a fucking.
Just a fucking dumpster fire.
I watched a video the other day actually, and it was, um, I forget what game it was though, but it was when Kansas City was terrible, and essentially it was 08, 06 and 08 when Mark Sanchez was their quarterback and was on the come up. Um, so New York Jets were winning 28-3. Essentially, they started on their own 3-yard line, and then Kansas City caused 83 yards in penalties. So New York only had 9 yards of offense, but they still scored a touchdown.
That's
So I think it was
impressive.
89 yards. So it was impressive. And essentially what this story was this is where, because of that drive, that's why Kansas City's head coach got fired, which then led to the next one, which then got fired, which then led to Andy Reid. So they're just basically saying, like, because of this play, Kansas City was able to rebuild and create the dynasty they are. Because of this play, because it was like the next game, the Jets just like tanked after this, and they were terrible.
I mean,
They
the
lost
fact
like
that
4 in a row.
the fact that someone went back far enough to fucking find that and be like, he got fired, good for them. Find something better to do with your spare time, because Jesus Christ.
I mean, this dude's probably making
He's not
$5,000 a month off YouTube, so like it's just his job.
Oh, okay.
The
Like, that's
GG
just
to that,
insane.
right? You know.
Well, like, yeah,
Or
okay,
we'll be there.
obviously,
We'll be there soon, Tyler. We'll be making some
but
ching off
okay,
YouTube from
but
this bad boy.
in my opinion, yeah, okay, you're right. But then I could also come and say, hey, if probably 2 years ago some guy dropped a ball in the end zone, if that guy didn't, maybe they win that game, they make a playoffs that year, or it's just like you can change one thing any year and it's gonna change the outcome.
Yeah.
So,
but what they said though was that the reason that they fired him was because the coach himself got a 15-yard penalty. He got an unsportsmanlike.
okay,
So what the owner said was that was kind of the final straw that led us to fire him, because there was actually they described the whole thing, but essentially there was no real reason to fire him because he had a decent season, but it was just that play was just that drive was the final,
but
just like not
you
get
could
rid of him.
also say at that point, like, he was, depending on what the penalty is, where maybe the players are happy standing up and fucking screaming out there after taking a 15-yard penalty. That could be a good thing. And
But
also, if
a
his
lot of
players don't take one more penalty, maybe his penalty doesn't matter anyways, and they win the fucking game.
But a lot of the times, though, and this comes back to like the Arizona Cardinals in present day, with undisciplined coaches. Usually, if you have a disciplined coach, you aren't going to be getting 89 yards of penalties in one drive.
No, yeah, no.
And that
Like,
was the thing. But like essentially,
the Patriots notoriously don't take stupid penalties, and it wins them a lot of games.
literally. Do you remember that one game? I think you probably watched it when Pat McAfee was explaining it, when the Colts tried to outsmart New England on that fake punt that turned into like the worst play ever.
Oh yeah.
He's like, we tried to outsmart the Patriots, but then they ended us outsmarting us as we're trying to outsmart them.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the play was never supposed to happen. Like, it was never ever supposed to be
Yeah,
a play.
it was just like a huge miscommunication.
Yeah.
Um,
But it
yeah.
was fucking fantastic. It was hilarious that it happened. I was a fan of it.
Okay, let's go to the NBA for a bit here. I think we're about an hour in. We can kill a few more minutes. The NBA, the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, you don't want to talk about that? You don't know who that signing is that the Cardinals got?
Oh, which one?
The center, I think.
No, I didn't hear about this one.
I
Did they?
lost my
Oh,
phone.
they re-signed him?
No, they signed one. I think. I don't think they re-signed him.
Because I know they signed
Kevin Beacham, 2-year contract. Also, side note, the Jaguars signed Shaquille Griffin to a 3-year, $44.5 million. He's a fucking good player. That's a good signing.
for him. Good for him. That's a good signing for them.
They're clearly going. Marvin Jones also 2 years to the Jags, 14.5. So Trevor Lawrence can have someone to throw to.
And they also got DJ Shark over there too. That could be good.
Yeah, like, so. But like, for the most part, most of the fucking wide receivers have not gone. Like, there's still a lot. And the Titans getting Bud Dupree, 5-year, 82.5, insane amount of money, but he's a stud.
Emmanuel Sanders went to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it'll be official
That's
tomorrow,
a good
I think, because he's gonna get released tomorrow. Yeah, there's been a decent amount of signings, but there's still a lot of those big name.
The Titans add Jenkins to their secondary, Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah. Like, there's been a lot of signings.
Oh, the Jags got Malcolm Brown. I think you said that though, right?
No, I did not say that. Yeah, he's a half decent player. Like, he's not insane, but he's good.
Marvin Jones. Wow. Jaguars are actually making some good moves. Wow, the Chiefs released Damien Williams.
I thought they re-signed him.
No, they released him.
He opted out last year, I think, right?
I think so, yeah.
Is it? Do you think it's coincidence or whatnot that? Fuck, who was it? There's a team. I think it was the Raiders. Released every player who opted out last year. John Gruden was like, "Fuck you," and you got released. Do you think that's an intentional thing, or you think that's just they weren't that good of players anyways?
No,
Because
it
in
could
my
be.
opinion, there were a lot of people that opted out that where I was like, I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I see John Gruden as a guy
Holds
who would,
grudges.
he's like, you were a pussy for opting out, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the guy,
I could
but
see it. I
he
could
just
see.
puts off that vibe.
You're telling me you don't know Joe Gruden? You don't
Yeah, I
have him
don't.
on speed dial,
No, I don't.
loser.
I don't.
Um, okay. Also, part of me is too though. If I'm a football player and somebody said, "All right, you get paid $3 million to play," but then they said you have the chance to not play because of COVID, because I don't think they make money if they opt out, right?
I think they got something, but like not their whole contract.
I don't know, how would it play?